Dylan once again. I think I am the last speaker before the comedians. So give it up for Dylan one last time. My name is Julia Rick. I work in the field of mental health as a psychotherapist. I am the last speaker of the night, which means one of two things. So one, the comedians are coming on next, which means we either need a real big pick-me-up after what I have to say, or two, I'm kind of the warm-up for them, which means I too am pretty damn funny. So we'll see how this goes, and thank you for laughing. I'm just curious, show of hands, how many people in this room go to the dentist regularly? Awesome. How about chiropractor? Some of us? Or any kind of physio, massage, athletic therapy, doctor? Okay. So lots of healthcare that we spend time and money on. Question for you about the cost of all of that is with our society. We don't often see people regularly for mental health. If you do, amazing. If you don't, we're going to talk a little bit about how and why, we have more responsibility to take with mental health. Numbers guy, Mortgage Matt, can I put you on the spot?
Do it.
What would you guess, and anybody else can guess too, is the annual economic cost of mental illness in Canada? What does it cost to our Canadian society annually? I got a hand over here.
2 billion.
2 billion? Okay. 4 billion? Say again?
2.5 million.
2.5 million. Okay, thank you for participating. You're all wrong. In Canada, every year, the economic cost to us as a nation for mental health is $50 billion. $50 billion. So we're talking like the costs to healthcare, costs of lost productivity, health-related quality of life, $50 billion in Canada. In the States, it's about 4 times that. They're almost $200 billion a year. Here's another fancy statistic for you. So if I asked you, what's the percentage of doctor's visits that are related to stress? What would you say? 10%? 10%?
75.
75? 75, 25, up to 90%. It's somewhere between 75 to 90, depending, of doctor's visits, doctor's office visits, can be related back to a source of stress. And over half of our actual medical physicians right now, especially since COVID, talk about the impacts that we've heard about it tonight. Over half of our doctors are reporting burnout and declining mental health. Okay, so what are we talking about tonight? We're talking about the fact that there's responsibility to be taken with mental health care. We know mental health care has been a buzz term, especially since COVID, and thank goodness it is now. But what I want to talk to you tonight about is sort of why we need to be taking more responsibility with it outside of those statistics. So mental health is something that we all have. We all have it, and I don't just mean that we all have issues. I'm talking about we have mental health, just like we have physical health. Okay? So physical health, it can be good, it can be bad, it can be somewhere in the middle, goes up and down. If we are older, you know what I'm talking about, right? Just like physical health, we have mental health. It can be good, it can be bad, it can be somewhere in the middle, and it can go up and down. It fluctuates all the time, okay? So it's not about saying, oh, I don't have mental health. Yeah, you damn well do. We all do. It's a part of us. In fact, it's at our center. It's our mind and body. And if you've heard me talk before, or if anybody did listen to the episode that I got to do with Dylan, I talked about we as human beings are actually social creatures. We are designed to be in a group. Look at tonight, there's 50 people right in front of me, right? We are social creatures, which means that we don't come by our issues by ourselves. That does not exist. Think of the last issue that you had, something that put your stress through the roof, and think about, was anybody else involved? It means that we don't come by our stuff by ourselves. It also means that we need to help each other to get out of it. If you're going to help be responsible for creating it, we're going to help each other get back out of it, right? So I talked to Dylan, I said, you know, we are designed to kind of be in a village, right? We are social people. We all want to be inside the village, not out in the wild by ourselves. So one of our biggest fears is about being outcast or not being accepted in a collective gathering. Okay? So that means that if we want to be in the village, we want to help each other function in the village too. Those statistics that I said in the beginning to grab your attention, like that's ridiculous. And how it gets there, that doesn't get there overnight. And I think that, and I grew up that way too, where there's especially generations where it's like, you don't talk about your stuff, you don't air it out. You know, if you're hurting, kind of go over there and deal with it, because we've got to keep going and walk it off and suck it up, right? But think of the issue that creates. Tonight I wear an orange shirt. It's Truth and Reconciliation Day across the nation. And one of the biggest things that has come up while we are newly recognizing this day is the trauma. And not just trauma, but intergenerational trauma. Has anybody ever heard that term? Yeah. It means that something might have happened to a person in your family, and it actually gets passed down to you and whoever you kind of live forward with, if you create your own family or you have relationships and whatnot. It means that something happens here, and coping strategies that get developed or don't get developed, they impact the people around you, and then that kind of develops into other negative or ineffective coping strategies for people. And so again, it brings back this whole responsibility of we are social people, we need to help take care of this and be responsible for not just our own health, but the health of the people around us too. Going back to that statistic I said to you about what's the percentage of doctor's visits that are related back to stress and stress-related issues, right? We are mind and body. We're not one without the other. We are not just physical health, receiving health care for that matter. In fact, we're more at the core mind, which then results in symptoms physically in our body, right? So you take, I wish Kirby was still here, because I would ask him, or anybody else who knows what it's like to be a leader, if there's something going wrong with your group, who's responsible for fixing it? It's not just that one person, right? And mental health and the responsibility, you know, one of the first things that we can do about it, because I know that's kind of where the next logical question is building skills with mental health. Building skills with stress management, building skills with understanding the education behind it all, and where to get help, where to get resources, who can I go to? You know, we spend, again, another topic that Dylan and I talked about was, we spend a lot of time building skills. You know, we had musicians up here, they did a great job. They've built hours and hours and hours of skills to develop their craft. But we don't spend time building skills with mental health. We don't spend the time that we do going to the dentist and learning how to floss and brush our teeth. By the way, did you know that dental issues can also relate back to mental health? Anybody grind their teeth at night? I do. Huge issues. So building skills is one of the first things that we can do, and that doesn't even have to mean that you come in crisis. It doesn't mean that you have to admit that there's chaos going on in my life, or I've been diagnosed with this or whatnot, and that's all great if you have. It can even start when things are calm and you have a goal in mind. It can start with little ones, as small as they are able to understand you. So, just to wrap up, talking about mental health is something that I'm super thrilled has come up more and more, especially since COVID. It's something that I love to talk about. I'll go as deep as anybody wants to. If you ever want to talk about where to go, things to do, you have questions, if you want to consult, let me know. I'm always willing to help. What I want to challenge you with as you leave is two kind of things. One is to reflect for yourself. Reflect and see, ask yourself, is there an area that I could become more responsible with when it comes to mental health? Mine or someone else's? Even if you start with someone else, sometimes that's the best motivation. I won't do it for myself, but I'll do it for my kids. No problem. It gets the ball rolling. Number two, what I want to challenge you with is have a discussion with somebody. Someone you trust. Have a discussion about how you think and feel about it. Hey, I heard somebody talk tonight and this is what they were talking about. What do you think about that? I never considered it. It kind of makes me feel scared, or maybe I'm willing to do it, right? If anybody wants to stick around and talk, I'm happy to do that. My name is Julia Rick, and thank you for listening.